It's great to be here. I think you've been very, very lucky this morning having a treat to hear Mr. Arthur Lockjack, probably the most renowned entrepreneur in the region, speak so intimately to you. I doubt you'll ever get that sort of treatment anywhere else. If you should try, he's really an amazing man, having started from basically very little and achieved so much. So you should count your blessings this morning. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience employing various graduates from this esteemed institution over the last 15 or so years. But first I'm going to start with a little story. There was an MBA graduate and his nephew who decided to go on a camping trip. So they pitched their tent and they ate some dinner and fell asleep. A few hours later, the nephew woke up the MBA graduate and said, "Look up, what do you see?" So the MBA graduate paused and he looked up. He said, "I see stars, lots of stars." And then he said, "Astronomically speaking, I see millions of galaxies, potentially billions of stars. Theologically speaking, I see the great Almighty. I realize how small and insignificant we are." And he turned to his nephew and he said, "And what do you see?" And the nephew looked up and he said, "I see someone has stolen our tent." Now, I'm telling you this story because the graduates from this esteemed university have a very practical perspective. They don't have a sort of esoteric, abstract hyperbole that some of the other MBA schools have. Their approach is a practical one. They're in touch with their environment. They understand what's happening in our society. I don't know how many of you here today are here with a view to doing an MBA. Could you raise your hands, please? Okay, I would say the majority. I'm going to speak to you about my experience with hiring MBA graduates. Probably people who've done masters in HR, masters in marketing as well. I don't think I've had anyone who's done an MBA, who's done a master's in finance or a DBA from this institution. However, I'm sure that the same sort of perspective would apply to those as well. Okay, what makes the graduates from this graduate school different? What's the point of difference that you will have should you graduate from the Arthur Lockjack School of Business? Most importantly, you'll have superior leadership skills. Now, most of you will be applying to do an MBA because you want to get ahead. You need to develop leadership skills. You want to become leaders in your company, in society in general. This school equips you extremely well to become a leader. You're going to have access to an influential network. You could see from the people who are here today, the diverse backgrounds that you all come from. You will be exposed to people in different cohorts, all of whom are leaders in their particular companies, or if they're in the civil service, they all have different perspectives, and you will be able to gain, through working in groups, a very valuable network of influential people that will come in useful as you develop your career in the future. Ethics. Importantly, you'll be exposed to ethics. I'm sure most of you have high ethics to begin with, but the whole importance of ethics will be formalized in the course here. a passion for excellence. You will be forced to excel just through peer pressure, because everyone in this group wants to achieve and do well. Everyone wants to graduate with a first. So just by virtue of being around people, as opposed to distance learning or abstract or internet learning, which some of the other programs that are offered in Trinidad and the Caribbean as a whole, because maybe some of you are from other countries, I'm not sure, you will be forced to excel. Experiential learning. I don't know if you're familiar with this terminology, but if you learn through experience, you will retain a lot more than if you just read books and learn in an abstract way. The way that they teach here is such that you're in groups doing most of your projects together with other people. And therefore, the experience of that process helps you to retain a good understanding, much more so than internet learning. You're going to use case studies that are relevant to this country, to the Caribbean, to CARICOM, to the West Indies. You're not going to have case studies, I mean, I'm sure you'll have some, but they won't be focused on Europe, Canada, North America, whatever, which is what you'll be exposed to should you do some of the other types of courses. Cross-functional teams we discussed already. Superior presentation skills. You will be forced on a regular basis to give PowerPoint presentations such as the one I'm doing. And you will have to stand up in front of an audience just like I'm doing. And that puts you in good stead should you ever have to replace me on this stage. In the workplace. I'm going to tell you about the 3 C's. This is something that we use extensively in our company to describe people. When we're interviewing people for jobs, we look at the 3 C's. The first one is character, and we view that as being the most important method of evaluating someone. There's character, commitment, and competency. If you don't have the right character, you can't work with our company. And it's therefore, I view it as a very important criteria. The type of graduate from this school generally is highly dedicated, enthusiastic, loyal. They're good team players. They collaborate well with their peers at work and socially. They're confident. They have no hesitation to stand up and give a lecture. They express their views very fluently in the workplace. They're not inhibited. They're often visionary. Now, Mr. Lockjack, who you just enjoyed listening to, he is a visionary. He is about as visionary as you could get. Many people who graduate from this school will evolve into being Mr. Lockjacks. The graduates tend to be reliable, punctual. They understand the importance of meeting deadlines. They're driven, motivated, serious, and most important, they understand the word accountability. In other words, for every action there's a reaction and you are accountable. The workplace, competency. Of course, most people would evaluate people in the reverse. Most people would say competency comes first. I say it comes third, but most people would say being competent is why you would hire someone. But if you hire a competent person that has a abrasive personality and can't fit in, that's just a waste of time. You need to have a good balance of all 3 C's. So the competency, that you will land up being an excellent team leader. You'll be capable of transacting business on an international level, very capably. And you'll be an analytical problem solver. You'll use resources wisely, and everybody in this day and age has limited resources. As we see last night, the U.S. economy being downgraded to AA+, first time since 1917. We don't know what the future has in store for us, but it's going to become more and more competitive. Costs are going to go up. So your ability to use resources wisely and efficiently it will be a great plus. You'll have good time management skills, where we discussed presentation skills already, and you'll be very good at managing cost. In terms of career development, which is why I suppose most of you are here today, you would handle greater profit and loss responsibilities with ease. You will understand the importance of profit. You will understand what being accountable for profit to shareholders and other members of your staff mean. You will be expected to have greater decision-making inputs, and people will rely on you for good decisions. You'll be fast-tracked through the corporate hierarchy. In other words, if you're 25 and you're just entering a management level, you will be put in a different track that will cause you to be propelled through the organization much more rapidly, because you'll grasp business concepts much more quickly than someone who's just come out of an undergraduate degree with limited work experience. There's a huge difference between a graduate from this institution and one who's just done 3 or 4 years who's had 3 or 4 years of work experience without the formality of an MBA. So you will be well equipped to handle international postings. If you work, many Trinidadian organizations have subsidiaries and offices in the Caribbean, in many islands. You would be more than capable of handling yourself well in any country to which you would be posted. Of course, you will expect to have an increased salary. Your whole remuneration package will improve as a result of this degree. And you will be charged with increased responsibility of supervising more people, managing greater numbers of people. This program equips you well with that. You're trained how to do this. And once you have a fairly good natural flair for motivating people, you will quickly evolve into a senior manager. If you're a technocrat and you know that you're competent at on technical things, you'll get to a middle management position. But it's very rare that you will get to a top management position if you don't have good leadership skills, if you can't motivate people, and if you can't get people to believe in you and your vision. This business school equips you to do all of that. And if you should join these programs offered here today, I think you stand a good chance in achieving your dreams. You'll get ahead, and within a 5 to 10 year window of graduating, I expect that you'll be top of the business that you're in, or if it's in civil service, you'll be promoted closer to being a permanent secretary or whatever the top positions are. So in closing, I think make the right choice, and we look forward to seeing you here in the next few months. Thank you.